The Fake Baseball Podcast is brought to you by SalaryCapSports.com. Enjoy fantasy baseball and want to give a new format a try? SalaryCapSports.com has got you covered. It's free and you can win cash prizes. Start with $50 million and build the best team you can before opening day. After you've built your squad, you get 4 trades a week to buy and sell players, adjust your lineup, and maximize your team value. Score points, play against other competitors, and win free cash prizes. Play now for free at SalaryCapSports.com. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday episode of the Fake Baseball Podcast. Normally, we are more during the week type of guys. Since it is a Friday, I grabbed myself an adult beverage. Cheers to those of you in the live and also everybody listening in the podcast feed. It is Blake Meyer here with my man Dylan Lydell. Dylan, how you doing today?
I'm feeling good. It's Friday. The Cougs are one game away from the Sweet 16. We're on to the next. I'm pumped. I can't wait for tomorrow's game, but ready to talk a lot of stuff today. Seems like this whole week, we couldn't really get it all into yesterday's episode. I know we'll kind of get into it a little bit more today, but I mean, Ohtani watch is in full effect again. It feels like we've got a full season's worth of content already, and opening day hasn't even come here yet. Or, we're not even opening day yet.
Yeah, we went from, man, I can't wait for baseball to get here to, oh my God, baseball is here and it is exhausting. And we've had two regular season games.
A lot has happened.
But like you said, we talked on yesterday's episode about Ohtani, about what's going on. What do we think? You guys can go back and listen to that if you'd like. Shameless plug to a different episode than this one. But news came out today that MLB is officially investigating Shohei Ohtani and his former, I guess, interpreter. I don't even know what they're referring to him as now, but MLB is officially investigating, which means this has gone from, oh, dang, Ohtani might have done something weird to
bad to worse.
Oh, wait, the league is actually about to do something about this. I'm nervous. I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter today about it. If you've been on Twitter, it's kind of everywhere. It seems to be more prevalent, at least on my Twitter. Maybe that's intentional, but it seems to be more prevalent than March Madness, and that's happening right now. I saw a poll earlier, and it said, where are you more likely to draft Shohei Ohtani now that the league is investigating him? First round, second round, third round, or he's completely off my draft board. Dylan, if it's you right now that you know the league is investigating him, are you drafting him at all, or what's your thought process there?
Stonks down, dude. Stonks down.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. I'm out.
I know yesterday I said that, if he's still there in the third round, I might consider it. I might actually be out too. I don't want to be because he's so good. And I mean, he looked good in that Korea series too. He played well. So the league getting involved is something completely different because, like I said, yesterday when we recorded this, the league had actually said that he wasn't under investigation at all. He didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 24 hours since me and you were on here, and they've completely done a 180, and now him and his interpreter are both. Did you see that stupid tweet or whatever that was going around? I don't even know if it was true. I didn't care to fact check, but that somebody polled a bunch of Ohtani's former teammates, and they said there's no way he could have been involved in gambling on other sports because he doesn't pay attention to other sports. That's the dumbest shit in the world. That's a cop out. I don't think he pays attention to other sports. His wife is a professional basketball player.
Was it a spoof account?
No, I saw it from the Talking Baseball.
That's what I mean. Oh, okay. I thought you were calling it a spoof account. I'm like, dude,
no.
I don't know if it was a spoof account. That's okay. My bad. Dude,
that's such a
bad
weird thing, man.
Bad.
I've never heard him talk about another sport. I don't think he would have bet on it. I have bet on Chinese tennis at 3:00 in the morning. You think I've ever watched Chinese tennis a day in my life?
There we go.
If he's
Okay,
really
you're
a
back.
degenerate
No,
gambler,
I do not believe you have bet on Chinese tennis. Like, I don't know. Have you?
I have.
Okay.
If
I
he's
stand
a real
corrected.
true degenerate gambler, I guarantee he does not need to pay that much attention to other sports to throw his fucking free millions of dollars at it to see what happens.
I can only
We've
say
all
I've
seen
only
Drake and how much
I've
you
only
bet.
put sports bet down at the bookie at EQC because that's all we got, until or
Yep.
if like DraftKings, FanDuel, stuff like that becomes legal and where we're at. I'm not gonna touch it myself because I don't have the itch, and I really do get screwed whenever I do gamble. So, I hate losing money. So
your dad is out.
he's out there right now.
Muckleshoot
Or
right now.
not EQC, but yeah, he's
He's out of
somewhere.
Muckleshoot right now, living it
Okay.
up, gambling on them games. Don't mind me if I check scores during. I'm just kidding. I'm not checking scores during the game. I don't got no money on any of the games right now. But
Did you watch
yeah,
the John Boy little investigate?
did.
Or yeah, he does such a good job with that stuff. He's going to be the main guy I watch because the way he dove into the whole Astros thing, the trash. I'm blanking on the name. Buzzer. What was that whole thing called? I don't know. I'm
On the what?
totally blanking on the name. The Astro scandal. Totally blanking on the
the
name.
trash can?
Yeah, like all that stuff. He was killing it with that. So John Boy's going to be the one to watch for this Shohei saga.
Yeah, and his tone in that whole thing was a very somber tone.
Dude,
too.
he was hurt.
He was. I mean, honestly, I think we're all going to be a little hurt if it happens because it's one of those things where Ohtani is supposed to be and has been the guy to take baseball from what it's been into the future, to bring baseball to a bigger audience in the States, to bring baseball to a bigger audience around the world, and to make baseball bigger. And if he really did do this, they have zero choice but to lay down a serious ban. They have no choice. And so it's going to be a dark day if it happens. We find that out, and they got to give Ohtani that ban. Like it would be bad for baseball, but they have no choice, which sucks, man. Cheers.
Booting him to Italy, man. That's tough.
All right, but we can't always talk about the bad stuff with Ohtani, although we have to because it's necessary because it's freaking Ohtani. But there's more bad news. The Baltimore Orioles apparently don't quite know what to do with Jackson Holliday, so he went back down to the minors to start opening day. I don't think that's anything anybody saw coming. It seemed pretty etched in stone that Jackson Holliday was the starting second baseman for the Baltimore Orioles come opening day. They have those new rules for starting these top prospects in the major leagues right out of the gate. I think you get a pick, or the player gets bonus. There's so many reasons to start them up, like the Mariners did with J-Rod. And instead, they just freaking sent him down, and I don't get it. He had been trending up in ADPs lately. Dylan, how long do you think Jackson Holliday's down? And at this point, where would you be drafting him? I can pull up his recent ADPs so we can get a good feel for
I don't know. I don't think it should be too long. But the thing that kind of caught my eye is Jorge Mateo's actually had a pretty decent spring himself. So I wonder if that's part of the reason why that pushed him down to the minor leagues to start. Granted, it is a small sample size. Jackson Holliday is second in the team in K rate, while Jorge Mateo is seventh. So there's a bit of a gap there. Jackson Holliday is at 31%. Jorge Mateo is at 22.5%. Walk rate, Jackson Holliday 6%, Mateo 10%. Mateo's hitting, let me see here, pulling it up. Mateo's hitting 343. Holliday's at 311. So, yeah, Mateo's been getting on base to start. So I don't know if that's the plan to have him start at second base and then just let Holliday ease in like a lot of these teams do, and then call him up after 5-6 weeks, whatever it is, and then let him eat from there. But I think that might be part of the reason. Jorge Mateo's pretty good spring.
He did have a pretty good spring, and I know he started last year really hot too. He got that April Player of the Month card on MLB The Show. So I mean, he's okay. He's not Jackson Holliday, which
no,
I don't think
and
that
there's
should come as
no
a surprise to anybody.
And nobody believes that. It's just what it is right now. Like, I don't think Mateo's going to be the one holding Holliday back long term. It's just what the situation is. March 22nd.
Yeah, and like Chad said, it's seemingly a service time thing, which it likely is, and I hate that they can do.
Colton Wong, I
service
saw,
time.
opted out of his deal too, I think.
Oh, there we go. Like the hard part is with these service time things, there's not really anything you can do about it. They tried to implement those bonuses for starting a player day one instead of sending them down, but I guess I'm wondering if maybe they think Jackson Holliday is going to be so good that they're going to need to save that money on the back end with the service time. But I don't really know. I mean, since March 1st, Jackson Holliday has been trending right around pick 160. So in like the 12th, 13th round of drafts, where would you take Jackson Holliday now that you know he's not starting? Like, does that change much for you, or do you still think 12th, 13th round is a decent value for him?
I mean, like I said, if we know it's going to be that 5 or 6 week thing, I think it's actually a good idea to get him stashed. That would probably be a good plan if he's still going that late, or even later. I think is better even. But around that range, I think it's a good idea to maybe stash him.
Yeah, I don't hate him around that 13th round range still, because he is so good. The only flaw I saw from the minor leagues was I think his K rate was 31% K rate, which isn't great. But that can obviously, small sample sizes are what you make of them. If you want them to be good, they could be good. If you want to be bad, they could be bad. But he played 19 games at AAA last year. Shout out Baseball Savant for now having searchable minor league data. Jackson Holliday in AAA last year, he had a 298 expected batting average, average exit velocity just shy of 91 miles an hour, and a 43% hard hit rate. So he makes great quality contact. And we all saw what he did to that Kikuchi up in the zone fastball that he hit for, I think it was a grand slam.
Hell yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to catch up to those. I remember after he did it, Nick Pollock, Mr. Pitcher List himself, had said that Kikuchi has one of the fastballs that moves the most in baseball, and for him to throw essentially a perfect fastball, up and in fastball with a lot of run on it, and Holliday to still get on top of it and hit it out for a grand slam. You're not supposed to be able to do that. You're definitely not supposed to be able to do that when you're like a 20-year-old rookie. So yeah, I'm thinking probably April sometime he might be up. It's going to be a service time thing. I hate it because I wanted to see what he could do in the minors. I know you had said you thought maybe 10 home runs, 15, 20 stolen bases for him this year. Yeah. That'd be good at second base, hitting like high 200s, maybe 280, 275.
And I don't even know if that's out of the picture if he does, depending on what he does come up. Like,
yeah,
if it's after a month, I don't know if that's still out of the picture.
True. I mean, to hit those numbers, you've only really got to get hot for a month.
Yeah.
And Jorge Mateo seems to only be good in April. So
just to play some catch up, right?
Yeah. So I guess let him get a couple more ABs down there, because he tore up every level. So it's not like they can even really say like, oh, we want to see him against a little bit higher level competition. Last year he had 314 in high A.
We know what he is. It's just like I was saying. I think it's the situation we're in on March 22nd.
He lives in a batting cage. Regular baseball players.
He was born and raised in a batting cage.
Like Major League Baseball players don't even do that. He currently, as we speak right now, He lives in a batting cage.
Mm-hmm.
So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. And his younger brother's pretty fucking good too. I've seen the videos of Matt Jackson and the younger brother out hitting dingers, and they all can swing.
They're really good.
Matt could always swing it though. Matt could always swing it. Matt should be a hitting coach somewhere. Like if he can, like he was really good himself. He always had a really good hit tool. If he can teach Jackson to be this good, and then I don't know the youngest brother's name, but if he can also teach the youngest brother to be this good, why doesn't Jackson have a? Why doesn't Matt have? Why isn't he a coach somewhere? Like a hitting coach? He doesn't even have to be a head coach. Be a hitting coach.
Yeah,
Mariners.
I mean, maybe once all of his boys are shipped off and ready to go, he has more time on his hands. That'd be my guess. Maybe just waiting for all them to get out the door.
He's OSU head coach. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. But moving on from Jackson Holliday, we're gonna stay within the same team. We got two more Baltimore rookies to cover. First one I think we should probably cover would be Coby Mayo. Coby Mayo, and we're going to cover Coby Mayo and Colton Cowser both. Coby Mayo seemed like somebody that had a legitimate shot to make the majors because he had been absolutely balling out the spring. If you thought Jackson Holliday was doing good, Coby Mayo was doing better. He's hitting 326 with a dinger, 11 RBI, and 7 doubles for Coby Mayo. 11% walk rate, 20% strikeout rate is all. He killed it last year in the minors. He hit 29 home runs, 99 ribbies, struck out about 24% of the time. Coby Mayo is great. Dylan, I know you had said you thought that with Coby Mayo and Colton Cowser, they're essentially fighting for one roster spot. You thought only one of them was going to make it. Did you think it was going to be Mayo that went down, or did you think Mayo was going to be the one to start in the majors this year?
No, I was on record going with Colton Cowser. That was the one I said that was going to end up taking the spot. I drafted him in our big boy draft, and I think it might be paying dividends now. 28th round, let's go. Yeah, I just kind of the same thing with Holliday. I don't know, just a little bit more overall of a better performance across the board. That kind of what it looks like right now to me, at least. I don't know. No complaints from me for taking Cowser.
Yeah, I am kind of in the same boat in Tout Wars. So it's an auction draft. You pick like your starters and all that stuff with your money, and then you have the reserves round where you pick 5 reserves. And it's like it switches from auction to the reserve round. It's a snake draft. It's just boom, 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 boom. And we did it by Tout Wars league finish ranking last year, like where everybody finished in the standings last year. We did reserve picks by that. I obviously was last because I'm the newbie. JB Branson from Rotoballer picked right before me because he was the other newbie. Shout out JB, he's a cool dude. But in my reserve rounds, some guys were going for depth. I took the route of going more top prospects. I took both Coby Mayo and Colton Cowser in the reserve rounds. And I also took Skenes as well in the reserves. So
I got Skenes'
I'm in
stash.
on all of
them. I'm all right with holding on to Skenes for a little bit.
Yeah, I think Skenes is gonna. I don't know. I think Skenes might be post All-Star break. Like I don't want him to be, but Pittsburgh's being kind of weird with him and this whole like, oh, he hasn't pitched enough minor league innings yet to really be ready to pitch at the major leagues. So I can't imagine they say that and then it's like, oh, May 1st, wow, Skenes threw 25 innings last month. He's definitely ready for the majors now. I don't see that happening. But we'll see. But yeah, Coby Mayo, I'm still in on. He's going to get called up at some point. I do think maybe like a Mountcastle does get moved at some point, which could open a spot. I kind of hope Mountcastle doesn't because I drafted him in multiple teams. I think I have him in half my leagues currently. But Coby Mayo has a great hit tool, and he has the kind of power that can play out there in Baltimore. But Colton Cowser, I think, is the move. I think Colton Cowser. I don't know if it was officially announced that Colton Cowser has made it. I'm gonna look right now. I just know Baltimore made a ton of moves today.
I think he
like sending people
was.
down
I think he was the last guy.
that made it.
Uh huh.
I just heard, like, I saw that, like,
That's
they
what we're
sent
talking. I
Mayo
remember
down.
it was like this exact scenario we talked about a week or two ago.
Yeah, and it's feeling like if you read Mike Curlin's tweets at all, from MLBplayingtime.com. I remembered it this time. I fucked it up last time I tried to say Mike's website
Sorry
name.
for cussing.
Sorry for cussing. If you go based off of him, he really thinks that Colton Cowser and Austin Hayes could be an awesome platoon, and I completely agree. And I think Colton Cowser could get a lot of play this year if he does platoon. I mean, obviously, for fantasy purposes, we hope he doesn't platoon, and we hope he gets every at bat because it just maximizes his value. But like you said, you got him in the 28th round of TGFBI. I got him in the reserve rounds in an expert league. There's nothing but value for Colton Cowser at this point. And to be honest, if you're listening to this right now, his value has gone up since we started this episode. It's like going up by the minute. All it took was who was going to be the one that got the opening day nod, Coby, Mayo, or Colton Cowser. Whichever one of them got it, their value was going to immediately rise. So it's going up right now. Cowser hit 325 with 5 dingers and 11 ribbies in 16 spring games this year. Walked 14% of the time. Dude, his plate discipline is insane. Here's his walk rate by season, like where he played: 17.7%, 16.2%, 16.1%, 10.5%, 16%. Even in his 26 games at the major league level last year, he walked 17% of the time.
That's really
I'm
good.
willing to chalk his 115 batting average up to just some bad luck and some rookie yips last year. I'm completely fine with that. A 17% walk rate, you don't have that unless you have a good eye at the plate.
No kidding. That's really good.
Yeah, so I think there is great value there for Colton Cowser. Zips has the most aggressive projections on him for this year at 118 games, and they got him for 13 dingers, hitting 235. But I don't know when Zips last did an update for their projections. ATC still has him at 72 games, but I know Ariel said he's doing one more update on the ATC projections. I think it was tonight, and it's going to be the last one before opening day. So we'll see maybe some new projections for Colton Cowser after that. I think he's a great pick. I still think maybe post round 20 is probably when you want to take like a Colton Cowser. Don't get aggressive. We're not saying telling you the 10th round you definitely could, but
the starting outfield for Baltimore is still pretty well set. I think there's still a bit of a path for him to get everyday at bats. Yeah, so definitely a guy again to stash and hope for the best and have his depth.
Yeah, a lot of upside there. That Baltimore team is going to score so many runs. So that alone should bring him some value just from runs scored. He scored 15 in 26 games last year. This Baltimore team is arguably better than last year's Baltimore team. So that's a good one to pick. Uncle Ted, I got to shout out Uncle Ted because he always comes in the chat with a bunch of just names
knowledge
in the chat. Austin Shenton is going to be up by he's an absolute monster batting at 26, like 600 last year in AAA. Austin Shenton could. There's potential there. He's just got to get some playing time. But let's move on from Baltimore. We've talked a lot of Baltimore. Everybody talks a lot of Baltimore. The name that I think we should move on to after this. There's so many rookies that I think are going to make an impact this year. I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm going to throw a curveball of a name in here. It's like we always do our pre-show prep. We talk about who we want to talk about. We get ourselves prepared. There's one that slipped my mind and shouldn't have. It is Chase DeLauter of the Cleveland Guardians. I think he's already been optioned down to the minors. He shouldn't have. The reason that I want to add him to this list, well, one is I think he's going to be a big time impact bat this year. In get this, in 13 spring games, he hit .520 with 4 home runs
Sheesh.
and 10
I know who you're
ribbies.
talking about. I know who you're talking about.
And he threw a double in there. They optioned him down. I will say, little caveat, I understand why he got sent down. He only played 6 games above high A last year. So the new wave is bringing guys up from Double A. I fully understand that. He only played 6 total games in Double A last year, and it's his first year in the minors. So I understand you want him to get a little work done there.
Is really nice and cool though.
But Miles Straw, not long before we hopped on this podcast, Miles Straw, I believe he got released today, or he got sent to waivers today.
Yep.
And Miles Straw was the starting outfielder for the Cleveland Guardians. So that opens an outfield spot where Chase DeLauder plays. Now, he's not going to be on the opening day roster. He already got reassigned to the minors. But I think this puts like a Disneyland fast pass on Chase DeLauder for coming back up to the majors. It could be not to always bring things back to the Mariners, but like what the Mariners did with Kelnick a couple years ago, where they sent him down just like to AAA just to make sure that he was like, all right, can he hit a little higher level? All right, cool, he can. So let's send him up. I think Cleveland's going to kind of do the same thing. Give him 10, 12 games in the minors. He's hitting 360. All right, he can come up and fill an outfield spot here for Cleveland because he's so good. And they honestly need a little bit of a spark to their team. Bo Naylor's cool. I love Bo Naylor. We're a pro Bo Naylor podcast. Outside of that, J-Ram's cool. I'm not going to get hyped for who is it? Doesn't Andres Jimenez still play there? Not hyped for him.
He does.
Josh Naylor.
Just kind of always
okay.
Always kind of been of a nest for pitching.
Yeah, they need a little a little shot in the arm of a little Chase DeLauder shot. They need a little something to kind of pick the vibes up and give that team a boost. And I think he does get I think he gets a very early call. Like, I don't think we make it through April before Chase DeLauder gets called up. I think it's going to happen that quickly. Because it really honestly is probably just one of those scenarios where they sent him down just to do a heat check in the minor leagues on him. Like, all right, cool. Yeah. Spring training wasn't a fluke. He don't need AAA. He doesn't need any of that. Let's get it going. And he's only 22. I think he got drafted out of college, didn't he? Yeah. He went to James Madison. He got drafted out of college. So, so that does give him a little, step up on like a high school guy. It's not like he's Max Clark that was drafted last year and they're like, ooh, let's give Max Clark a heat check in the majors. Now, DeLauder proved himself in college, honestly proved himself in spring training. Let's not lie.
Interesting name.
But he'll get
he's got
a point.
He's got a real swing.
Next one on the list that we had before that. Who was the next one? Ooh.
Merrill.
Ooh. Jackson Merrill, baby. Yep. Jackson Merrill. So we did cover Jackson Merrill a little bit on this podcast before I don't even know what to call the Soul series. It's not real opening day to me. I don't want to say that it's opening day because I honest to God don't feel like it's opening day, even though I get it is opening day. But these weird Korea games,
tough to keep track of.
It is. He was a name that I had been paying attention to because of my brother. Shout out Bryce. Bryce collects Jackson Merrill cards. He's been big on him. Jackson Merrill had never played the outfield before spring training this year, and San Diego is trying everything they can to get him in the lineup. He made their opening day. Dude, I think he had 5. I got it up right now. In 5 batted ball events, he had 2 barrels, which is a 40% barrel rate. His average exit velocity was 101 miles per hour.
That's
all of his. So a technical hard hit ball on Baseball Savant is 95 plus miles an hour. All 5 of Jackson Merrill's batted ball events went for 95 plus miles an hour. All of them. And his double that he hit in that, I think it was the second game he hit the double, it would have been a home run in like 26 or 28 ballparks if they had been playing back here. And it would have been a home run in San Diego where they play their home games. He's the real deal, dude.
Yeah. And the Padres are a team that needed to fill an outfield spot after shipping away Soto too. So I'm not saying this is Soto, but if you can get similar production and you may get a little bit more athleticism with some stolen bases too. Rookie, so you get some Rookie of the Year candidacy too in San Diego. You may get that early pick like the Mariners were rewarded for J-Rod. So this is what we need. We need to see young guys like this make the opening day rosters, and Jackson Merrill's one of them. And you were in on him pretty early on, and so good call on him.
Yeah, here's the thing. So in Tout Wars, again, Tout Wars is, I guess they call it an expert league. I got him for $1 in an auction league. At like the end of the draft, I had already spent all my money, and I was the last person just naming players for $1 to add to my roster. I got Jackson Merrill for $1. From March 1st through March 21st, his ADP is 314 on NFBC. Like if you're in like a traditional 12-team league, he wasn't being drafted. Now, if I change that to let's say Monday to today, the 18th through the 21st, there's been 63 drafts and his ADP was 257. That's like the 22nd round for Jackson Merrill. He is going to be like we talked about Anthony Volpe last episode, how he had maybe like the most underrated 2020 season ever.
Right.
I think Jackson Merrill could do the same thing. I honest to God
totally.
think he'll go 2020 this year, but he's not going to hit 200 like Volpe.
No,
I think he's going to go 2020 hit 270.
Yeah, he's going to find his way on base more and find ways to get more base hits. I agree.
And that's going to be huge, especially for a guy that is being drafted so late. Jacksons are taking over baseball this year.
Facts.
Jackson Churio, Jackson Holliday.
Yeah,
Jackson
he's
Merrill.
another one. And Milwaukee, he made the opening day roster. Shout out him too. We haven't talked about him much, but shout out him.
You know what? I mean, we haven't, but see, I can't say that this is a tough episode. This is a really fun episode because I like talking about rookies, and I couldn't name you super deep prospects to like check in on in the minors to make sure they're okay. Like somebody like Upper Beck from Twitter. Shout out you, Beck. You are maybe the nicest dude I've ever met. He does like a top 300 prospects. I'm not that guy. I can't do that. But I pay attention to a lot of guys that have the potential to come up sooner rather than later.
Right.
And so doing an episode like this is awesome because we get to talk about a bunch of them, but also we can't because time restrictions. We honestly, I don't know why I'm still talking through this. Me and you could probably do a 3-hour episode just talking about baseball. But for the listener experience, we got to keep it a half hour. I didn't add Jackson Churio just because there were so many names that we could have added to this. So many rookies that I think are going to make a really big impact.
He made it.
Wyatt made it too. Just a quick little thing on Jackson Churio. The only outfielder in Milwaukee that was going to stand in his way was Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
They don't have another outfielder that's better than him. He's better than Joey Weimer. He's better than all those guys.
Not many barriers over in Milwaukee.
Dude, last year in Double-A, he hit in 122 games. He hit 22 dingers, stole 43 bases, strikeout rate under 20%, and he hit 280. And he had another 25 extra base hits.
Oh, and they paid him too. Like,
yep,
yeah, they locked him up. He's already there.
So he is a big one. I think he's going much sooner in drafts though. So his is a little different story because he is somebody that I think everybody was already like, oh yeah, this kid's going to be good.
Right.
Yeah. His ADP in this week, if you're listening to this, his ADP this week is 119. He's been picked as high as 75. Everybody's already on the hype train for Churio. He's worth every bit of a top 100 pick, even at 119. He's worth every bit of it. But you did mention Wyatt Langford. Dylan, I'm going to throw this to you. How good do you think Wyatt Langford can be this year?
He's got everybody around him, and the flashes have been as good as anybody's this spring too. So hitting 388, god damn. 6 bombs. Strikeouts a little bit of a concern, but yet it's a small sample size, like we're saying with Jackson too. What is his at now? I know it's up there. Actually, you cut it down to 25.
25% now.
Yeah. There you go. So there you go. Even like I know people were freaking out after like the first 10, 11 at bats. So 40%. Like I get it. Small sample sizes, a little bit bigger of one now, and we're at 25%. So yeah, this is gonna be a dangerous lineup, Blake. I hate to say it. It is. It is.
I hate to admit it too. We were texting about it earlier. The top of their lineup is going to be Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Adolis Garcia. That
Who cares about 7, 8, 9?
For real. Nathaniel Lowe and Jonah Heim, you throw those
Oh,
in
they're
there
still
too.
really good though. Yeah.
Bro. Like that's not a fair team. Now their pitching is hot garbage.
No, right.
So.
They're going to have to score 15 runs a game to have a chance.
But if you were going to have to score 15 runs a game, I think that's the lineup. That's the one to do it. That's going to be such a. I don't even know if we can say they're going to be a good team. I think we could just say they're going to be a fun team.
No, I hate them. Nope. Losing 120 games. They're not doing nothing. Nope.
Go Mariners, though. Go Mariners.
Yep,
Go Mariners.
go Mariners.
As always. Wyatt Langford, also another guy that has been picked very early lately. We'll do that same just the last week. Typically, I wouldn't do a week's worth for a sample size just because that's very small. But there's been 63 NFBC drafts in the last 4 days, so that's a big enough sample size to kind of be able to get a feel for where a player's going. What? Holy shit! Okay, so Wyatt Langford's ADP is 80 right now. He's been picked as high as 19.
I like that 80 spot more.
I like the 80 spot more too, but god damn, picked as high as 19.
Let me see that first. Let me see that first.
I need to see. Yeah, I need to see something. I mean, he's got. If you want to go to play devil's advocate, his BABIP at every level last year was 444, 375, 406, 538, and spring training 433. That's probably going to come down, even if he's like a 380 BABIP guy.
Yeah, and everybody will tell you, everybody says it, like even the gap from AA to majors, AAA to majors, whatever it is, the major league pitching is just at another level, even compared to the minors. Like there's going to be some struggles there. Like there just is. There's going to be some regression. I don't know how much. That's what I'm saying. That early, I got to see it first. That's what I mean.
So my question was, I'm trying to check Evan Carter's ADP while we do this. Shout out my new computer so I could do this twice. Okay, Evan Carter has actually moved up in ADP as of late as well. He is very good, but it feels like Evan Carter right now is getting overshadowed by Wyatt Langford, which makes sense because Wyatt Langford is just the talk of baseball. But
Carter's 2 and only bombs off Logan that one game.
Evan Carter, yep, I think so.
Bummer. Those were bombs too.
They were. But damn, he's had a good spring too. 317, 15% K rate, 2 dingers, 2 stolen bases. I need everybody to understand. The Rangers already said that they want both Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter to hit in a prominent spot in the order. That is what the team has come out and said, which means Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter are either they'll be your 2 and 3 hitter, your 3 and 4 hitter, probably not even your 4 and 5. They're going to be your 2 and 3 or your 3 and 4, hitting in the heart of the World Series champion Texas Rangers lineup with all of those other bats around them. Adolis is going to hit behind both of them. They're both worth a top 100 pick. I was very hesitant there for a second. I was very confident when I started to say it, and then I fucking thought about it. Yeah, top 100 pick. I think they're both very worth it. I'm
Is
not
it a
taking
coin
Wyatt Langford
flip
at 19.
for who?
I think I like Wyatt Langford
For sure.
slightly more because he
For
has a
sure.
better hit tool and a little more power than Carter does. I think Carter has more speed. Carter had that, like, what was it, like 93rd percentile sprint speed or something? Just something ridiculous that you wouldn't expect. And his BABIP last year, in what he plays 23 games at the major league level, his BABIP was 412. So that's going to come down. A really, really, really good BABIP for the season. Like if you have a 380 BABIP, you're probably going to lead the league or be right in the hunt to lead the league. Normally, if I see
97th percentile.
Yeah, I knew it was something crazy high.
6'2", he's taking 3 steps to get
So
to the next base.
So if that's the case, he's probably going to carry a higher BABIP. It's not going to be above 400. It might be like a 360 BABIP, which puts him closer to hitting like 260 for Evan Carter. But 260 is going to go 2020. He's Nolan Jones, essentially. They're like a carbon copy of each other, it feels like. ATC has Evan Carter projected to hit 254. Hey, good guess by me. With 16 dingers and 18 stolen bases. And again, Ariel has said that his projections do tend to be a little light. So he likely will do a little better than that. So that does fall right into that 2020 parameters. And if he scored 90 and drove in 90, like if he had 180 runs plus RBI, that I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's a crazy pick there for Evan Carter. Wyatt Langford is going to be really good too. But I think we'll leave it with this. Dylan, if you had to pick one rookie that you think is going to be the best rookie of 2024, who do you think that would be? Dylan, you got no sound?
That's my bet. Keeping it easy. Wyatt Langford slugging 755. Leading the spring in RBI, or yes, leading the spring in RBIs at 20. I apologize for that, but yeah, Wyatt Langford, just keeping it easy. But I think it's the obvious one.
Langford?
Yeah. What about you?
There's a part of me that really wants to say Jackson Churio. Just because maybe because I want to go against the grain a little bit.
Because we haven't even talked about him that much.
Yeah, maybe because I want to go against the grain a little bit, but maybe because I do like his speed a little more, and I'm not sure his power is that far off of a Wyatt Langford. Langford has like 30, 35 home power. He's a little bit. He's not like terribly small. Let's see. I got him right here. Jackson Churio is 5'11", 198.
Oh, okay.
A little beefy. I mean, Morel is like a 30 to 35 home run guy, and he weighs 145 pounds apparently. I need that to be fact checked, but the potential is there. So yeah, we got Wyatt Langford, Jackson Churio. We've also got Blake Meyer, Dylan Liddell. Make sure you guys go follow us on socials at Balake, at DLiddell_09. Let's get Dylan's Twitter following up a little bit, people. Let's get on that. Dylan needs more Twitter followers. Help the boy out. Again, it is at DLYDELL_09. Go follow the boy. Make sure you're following us, liking us, subscribing to us on whatever platform you listen on or are checking this out on. It may not seem like a whole lot to you, but things like that go a long ways to helping us in so many ways, and it means a ton. Make sure you guys leave a 5-star rating and review if you so feel like you want to. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys next week.